And a very good morning, Mark. Here it is Monday, January the 26th, at 7:55 a.m. Eastern. That's 12:55 p.m. GMT. US session about to get underway, and after an extremely volatile and busy week last week, particularly the US dollar's weakness last week, and the US dollar being sold off to extremes last week. Let's see how we look going into the new week. Starting on the US dollar index on the daily chart, you can see a sizable gap down to start the week after Friday's close, and then opened up to start the new week at 96.97. A little bit of a sell-off even further. You can see the wick, the bottom of the body of this candlestick, but US dollar attempting a fight back early in the US session. I've got support at 96.80. I've got resistance at 97.08. And we'll see now that the US session is underway, where the US dollar can bounce from this extreme sell-off we saw last week, or if sellers are going to step in again. Like I said, US session underway, getting underway now, so we'll watch and see the US dollar's performance. Let's have a look at the S&P 500. There was a gap down earlier at the open. We're looking at the futures market. Wall Street only opens up in about an hour and a half, but certainly there was demand on the US equity side, and you can see the green candlestick so far in the futures market. I've got support at 6,911, and we've got resistance at 6,949. Sizable range for futures trading. We'll see whether once the US session gets underway and once Wall Street opens up, if buyers can maintain, if there is demand for US equities and they break above this 6,950 area and look back up at the 7,000, or if sellers step in, looking down at the 6,911, which is the support level for now. Gold had a massive week last week. I'm just have a look on this daily chart, the higher highs, the higher lows. Every day was a new record high, and then closed last week at 4,987, just below the 5,000 level. To start the new week, it gapped higher, well over that 5,000 level, and has since then, through the Asian European session, still demand for gold safe haven status and support at 5,028, and I've got resistance at 5,109. That's an extreme move. If you look back from the close on Friday at just under 5,000 and already over 5,100, the resistance level. We'll see whether buyers maintain this during the US session, or whether prices just hang around this 5,100 level, or if there's going to be a turnaround and sellers do step in as a result of either profit taking or certainly overbought technical indicators. Sellers will look to test and break below the 5,000 level. But again, to start the new week, just like last week, certainly a demand for gold. Let's have a look at Brent oil. Brent oil had a strong week, a strong day on Friday, following a pretty tight week with not much happening. On Friday, the White House Trump's threats against Iran and sending troops to the area resulted in a demand for oil and oil strengthening all the way up to 65.39 was the close on Friday. For now, hanging around that area, price right now around that $65 level, 64.95. I've got support at 64.80, and I've got resistance at 65.75. And there's the small green red candlestick, so slightly down on overall on the day's trading. If I do zoom out, I still see a downtrend in place, and we'll see whether price action can maintain below this descending trend line. We'll see whether this intraday resistance at 65.75 maintains, or if buyers do step in again, which could result from further threats coming from the White House regarding Iran intervention, sending troops, and if buyers break above these levels. If we see uh, weakness in the oil market, as opposed to being sold off, maybe just prices hanging around this $65, $64.50 level. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin trying to fight back today. I've got support at 86.4 thousand. I've got resistance at 88.2 thousand. Green candlestick, as you can see, that's following the sell-off we saw on the weekend. Certainly still very much a downtrend on the dailies. We'll see if buyers can get back to 90,000 would be the first level that buyers would be looking for in an attempt to reverse this strong downtrend. We'll see if that plays out during the US session, or if we get a continuation of weakness, no demand for Bitcoin, and sellers come down to test or retest this 86,000 level. If I stroll out a little, you can see for a long time since the end of last year, around this 86, 87,000 support area has been well guarded by buyers, and that's what we're seeing again today. We'll see whether that can be maintained or if sellers finally break below this level. Good trading. Keep that discipline. I'll see you at the end of day session.